Something or someone appears to be standing between humanity and its ability to cause mass destruction of Earth. It happened in 1948 in New Mexico at the exact same labs that built the atomic bomb. Green fireballs the Air Force can't explain start streaking over them night after night after night. 19 years later, Montana. 10 nuclear missiles armed, online, ready to launch. All go dead, all 10 within 10 seconds of each other. No malfunction on record, just a glowing object hovering outside the fence. A year after that, it's North Dakota. A bomber crew watches something outrun their jet, jam their radios, and vanish off radar. Again, over a nuclear missile field. The Pentagon's own report says these sightings are not scattered. They cluster around nuclear sites, military testing fields. So we have to ask the question that nobody in a position of authority and power wants to answer. Is something or someone standing between us and mass destruction? Buckle up, because this one comes with radar tapes, sworn congressional testimony, and a government that still can't keep its own story straight. Los Alamos, Sandia, Kirtland Air Force Base. If you had to pick the most heavily guarded real estate on Earth in 1948, this was it. This is where the atomic bomb was built, where it was stored, where the next generation of it was being designed. And starting in December of that year, something started showing up in the sky above it. Witnesses called them green fireballs, bright, silent, moving in ways that nothing in the sky was supposed to move. Not falling like a meteor, not drifting like a flare, cutting straight, level lines across the horizon, night after night, directly over the most sensitive nuclear installations in the country. Military pilots reported them, scientists working on the weapons program reported them. There were enough reports from people with enough security clearance that the Air Force couldn't just laugh it off, so they didn't. They launched a real investigation, codename Project Twinkle. Cameras, tracking stations, physicists, all built specifically to catch one of these things on film and figure out what it was. They never got a clean answer. Weather balloon and meteor explanations were floated and mostly fell apart under their own scrutiny. Meteors don't fly level for miles, and the timing was too consistent, too tied to the exact footprint of the nuclear program. All too much to file away as coincidence. Now here's what matters for where the story is going. This is the earliest known case of unexplained aerial activity clustering around a nuclear site. Before Malmstrom, before Minute, the moment we build the bomb, something started watching. March 16, 1967, Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. 10 Minuteman missiles, armed, fueled, on permanent launch alert, are able to fire within minutes of an order. In case you're not familiar, these missiles are never powered down, never idle. They sit ready around the clock, so that if the order ever comes, a sudden national emergency, an active war, America can respond in minutes, not hours. That's the entire point of the system. It only works if it never sleeps. At 8:45 in the morning, they all go dead. Not one, not two, all 10, within about 10 seconds of each other. Down in the launch capsule, security guards are calling in. There's an object outside the fence, glowing, red, hovering, low and silent. Minutes later, the missiles are offline. No-go, unlaunchable. The Air Force's own report says it plainly. Nearly simultaneously, no wiring failure explains that. No single point failure takes down 10 separate, hardened, independently operated launch facilities in the same 10 seconds. Robert Salas was the launch officer on duty. He's told this story under oath in front of Congress decades later, not to a tabloid, to the United States government. Then, 8 days after Echo Flight went dark, it happened again, a different flight. Same base, same pattern. The official explanation, when it finally came 75 years later, a declassified electromagnetic pulse test. There's one problem. The paperwork for that EMP system wasn't even submitted until 1971, 4 years after the missiles went dead. You can't test a device that doesn't exist yet. North Dakota, Minute Air Force Base, September 1966. Same story, different sky. A dozen airmen topside at the launch control facility watch an object with flashing lights hover near the perimeter fence. Below them, 10 more nuclear-tipped missiles. All 10 drop off alert, unlaunchable. Captain David Schindel was there. He didn't talk about it, not to his wife, not to a journalist, not to anyone, for over 40 years, because the order came down from the top. This didn't happen. Never speak of it. He finally broke that silence in 2017, and he wrote a book about it, called it, simply, It Never Happened. 2 years later, the same base, this time, it's not just missileers on the ground. It's October 24th, 1968, at 1 a.m. A security team spots a glowing object near a missile silo. It drops down toward the trees and they radio it in. By 2:30 a.m., a maintenance crew driving nearby reports the exact same thing. An unusual light east of the base. Then it goes airborne, radar picks it up, and a B-52 bomber inbound to land gets vectored straight at it. The navigator watches it on his scope, pacing the aircraft 3 miles out for 20 miles. And then both of the B-52's UHF radios go dead. Mid-encounter, no transmission in or out. This isn't secondhand, this is radar data, flight telemetry, declassified Project Blue Book case files. It's considered by researchers who've spent decades combing through military UFO reports one of the most thoroughly documented cases in the entire archive. Because in 2021, the Pentagon released its own assessment of over 100 military UAP incidents. Their words, not a conspiracy theory forums. The sightings cluster around U.S. training and testing grounds, around nuclear sites. One tracking database has logged over 1,800 unexplained sightings within 25 miles of American nuclear plants. Another 1,300 near bases that store nuclear weapons. And it's not just showing up and hovering. A separate compiled study found 81 documented cases of pilots experiencing electromagnetic interference during encounters. Radios cutting off, autopilots failing, and in 4 cases, weapon systems going completely unresponsive. Something keeps showing up exactly where the weapons are. And when they do, the weapons stop working. Now, a strange footnote to this story. So this is about something that hasn't happened yet. Those green fireballs from 1948, look at the footage circulating today from contactee Chris Bledsoe, the man at the center of a prophecy we've talked about and are eventually going to get back to. His orbs pulse green too. Different behavior, different era, and I'm not saying they're the same thing, but it's worth asking why across 77 years, green keeps showing up in the sky at the exact moments that humanity is standing closest to catastrophe. Bledsoe's story doesn't stop at an orb on a beach with the crowd that's witnessing it with him. He says he was shown something bigger, a prophecy, missiles flying, Israel, and a nuclear weapon, and an intervention right before it drops, followed by knowledge being handed back to us that we were never supposed to lose. He says that was all revealed to him back in 2012, and he handed that information back to the United States government and NASA. But according to Bledsoe, the lady told him humanity would not necessarily be allowed to destroy itself. Now, I'm not telling you what to believe. We're going to keep watching and see if anything does happen with that October prophecy. And if you missed that episode, I'm going to attach it to the end of this one about Chris Bledsoe and the vision of the lady. Because if something really has been watching our nuclear program since the moment we built it, according to the lady, 2026 might just be the year we find out why. I'm Heather. This is Seriously Spooked. Thanks for watching, and if you hit that subscribe button and like this video, it will help the channel out. See you in the next one.